you're doing? Dilip, which requirement? Which requirement?
First one, 262.2.3.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 262.2.6. And everybody pay attention here. If I hear people talking among themselves, they're going to come up and draw the first.
I was the one talking about them. It's going to be area manager can create following user types, dealer user, and house representative user.
Okay.
So I will go for
New branches.
dealer user. So I will just go for dealer user first. I mean, while creating dealer user, you need is unique ID, first time. I mean, those are the required field. If you go like in system design, it's in system design. Not unique ID.
No, not unique ID. First name,
No,
last
no, no,
name.
where is defined?
Defined, yeah.
So you need those things. It's must when you create it. Others are optional. I mean, whether write it or not. So, email ID and dealership. So these are the required fields
So required
to create that user. And for same way for this representative, there are
So required field.
first name.
You don't have to list it all of them, right? You just put it down required field.
Okay, required field, and in that is like whatever is the required field you need to enter.
Okay.
That's what you can use.
Okay. So anybody else had more than 2 test cases, or just everybody came with 2?
So I mean,
Do you have more? Or did you come and add on top of it?
So here the area manager will create the dealer user.
Okay.
For creating the dealer user, you should have a name, an address, and an auto-generated franchise number.
But it's dealer user, not dealer. Franchise number is for dealer, not for dealer user. Those are 2 different concepts, remember? It's Germain and the employees working at Germain. So you're creating employees working at Germain. Germain already exists. Let me ask a question. Did anybody feel that any information was missing from them doing their test scenarios? So everybody felt it was 3C and T, right? There's no hidden agenda here. I'm asking you a simple question. Do you have 3C and T? Did you feel that you had enough information to do that? Between the 2 documents, right? You have enough information of what is required, what is not required. Okay. So, anybody else had more than 2 test cases and there are 3? Everybody had 2? What about negative test cases? Right? So you just have only these 2 test cases? What are the other test cases?
We are making branches of it.
you need, right? Just dealer user or
First
first
name,
name, then what
yeah.
happens and
Or the
email
email
ID
ID
also.
also.
Well,
Special character.
Those
what
are
is the minimum test cases you need? That's where I'm coming down. You can definitely do a lot of exhaustive, but what is the minimum number of test cases you needed in order to validate this part? Yeah, so,
Whatever is required.
so think of this way, right? So, if I do it, right? So, now I'm gonna do this thing, so that we can, actually, you know what? In that case, let me use the black one. So you have an area manager. It is expected there are at least 2 branches, right? The 2 different types of user need to create. One is a dealer user. And the other one is Arfloan. Okay. Here, you can branch it, right? Providing all the required fields. Right? All fields. Right? At a minimum 2. But I'm giving you all the information to see if everything works. I'm giving you minimum information to see if it works. Then I can give you a little bit less than minimum, right? So I can do it. Missing required fields. And it doesn't matter, right? So if there are 5 required fields, I can specify at least one of them is missing. Doesn't matter which one. It should still reject it, right? Because if it allows it, then hey, there's something is wrong. Right? Then what happens if it's blank and I just create? There's no required, there's no optional either. Right? You need to test that condition also. What happens? Then nobody gives you any data. Exact same thing I can replicate here, right? So at a minimum, I need 8 test cases to even validate that requirement to see if it's working or not. Good?
What about the negative one? If I'm able to create other kind of users, should we check for it?
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And on top of it, what Harsh will say that, hey, do I need to check it to say if he can create only this 2, or can he create some additional, right? So that's where you look into that other side of the document where you have that matrix and says, hey, who all area manager can create? Do I need to worry about it? Okay. Which is okay, because it doesn't say area manager can only create this 2. If the wording was can only create this 2, then I have to worry about all the other business. But the way it is worded, all I'm looking for, it can create at least this 2. That's what the way I read. And here also, right, you can just do a valid and invalid data. What do you mean by valid and invalid data? Can somebody give me an example? What if in zip code, instead of using only the digits, I use alphanumeric? Will that be invalid data? I want to see it, hey, I'm providing something in that required field, but I'm not providing valid values. Does it take it? Because each of the field has a definite field type, right? Whether it's text, number, a boolean. What if I try to put in something different? So if I look at it, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 2, 12. Okay. Now, somebody from that group come over and talk about one of the other requirements that you guys addressed. David or anybody from your group. It's good? Yes. So that's why, like, the subsets, same thing here, right? Right? The same tree follows this side also. And every leaf is your test case.
What we still doing?
No, you're doing either 26421 or 23. Your choice. Just read the requirements that you're doing it loudly, so everybody can get that.
So, the lender cannot modify application data.
So it's 26623. I'm getting you too much confused, that's why you're reading So as you write it, walk us through it, like it's, I see that you have drawn 4 leaves, which each one, like the first one is,
So the first test case scenario was submitting the application with the original, the lender receiving the loan application and approving it with the same original information on the application. Then the second,
so let me step back. So A, I would be different words, right? So lender doesn't submit app,
well,
right?
not submit, but return to our.
Right, but so what is this, the requirement? Let's talk about it. What is the requirement specifically say?
Not modified.
Right, so it's about modifying it. It's not about approving or rejecting it, right? So it's a different requirement when you try to do approve and reject it. Right, so the focus of this requirement is, hey, as a lender, I cannot change or modify anything with the exception of a status, right, which is either approved or rejected. So that's what you need to tell. So what will be the different scenarios?
With them, once they receive the application, they're going to not be able to test it, or be able to know that they can't test it, that they can't
Change. Right. But how would I go about it? Can we have one conversation at all, please?
I mean, the way I was thinking was if the only way they would be able to do that is if going back through Arfloan, if the application was changed in any way, then it would be just be rejected, or would be able to be returned through Arfloan.
Okay, so your understanding of the requirement was, hey, once it's submitted, they cannot, nobody will be able to change it and then do that. But that's not what it says, right? So the requirement is specifically focused on, as a lender, what can I do with the application, right? And the key thing is that, hey, can I change any of the fields? So if I submit it, if I log in as a lender for an application which is submitted to me, can I go and change it, let's say loan amount? Can I change it, let's say their address or social security number? Those kind of things it's asking. Can you do any of those? Right? So in order to do that, what all test cases I need to write it to prove that I cannot do anything? Is everybody clear what we are trying to do, like it's validate or test it?
Yeah.
I have a question for that one.
Uh-huh.
Stakeholder, they're not requiring, or we don't need to build an application where lender cannot do any management. So do we really have to do the test cases if they're not requiring?
Sorry,
They
I'm not
can-
very clear on your question.
Okay,
Okay, so can you repeat it?
what I'm saying, lender can only approve it or reject it. That's the main requirement we have.
Right.
In any requirement or system document, they don't say anything about managing. Like they cannot update or they cannot do anything. So
But
is it really?
This requirement specifically calls that they cannot do anything. Right? So
Did you
there
guys
is a
look at the wrong
that
requirement?
Calls for it.
Okay.
Said, hey, I need to validate and make sure that lender cannot do anything but just approve or reject. And how do I validate it? That's what system is restricting me to, if I'm a lender. How do I prove it?
Cannot change it.
By the name.
So can we like make like the best case we like see if the lender can in fact do it. If you do it, I mean if it what it says you shouldn't do it.
So you're just leaving it, and says, hey, I'm gonna wait till the system gets built,
Oh,
I'm gonna log in
No.
and see if they can change anything or not. So how am I gonna prove it?
I mean you have to test it.
So what, is it just one line, test case? Log in and try to change things.
That's the first step.
That's the first step? Is that the only case?
No, I don't think so.
What are the other cases? That's what I'm asking. What is your lead case?
If you try to check whether he can change or not, the submit button should not be,
So you're already assuming there will be a submit button.
if he's
Is
putting
there
the
anywhere
name
in
and
the
he
design?
can try, it won't show.
No.
It's not about the
It's only
button,
read
okay?
only.
How do I know for sure it's a read only? Because I can change its status.
Mm-hmm. It's tricky.
And is there anything I have to do it? Is there any workaround? That I need to block it to make sure there's no workaround?
Mm.
So,
So,
in that case, you block access you block access from the lender from updating or modifying anything.
How do I validate that? That's what the question is.
You guys are QA, right? You guys are not coding. So how do you go and verify that, hey, that's the scenario, that's the case?
Can we change it in the database?
The requirements,
No.
We're not even at the database level
They
yet.
should write it in the requirements.
You're logging in as
That's
a
what the
lender,
requirement is. That's what
and
you
the
guys have.
requirement is that if I log in as a lender, I cannot do anything with the application data.
You cannot see it.
This is a very simple requirement, but you guys need to think through how can you validate. It's a simple thing, okay? What would you do if you are a lender, if you are wearing a head of a lender, and trying to see if you are not able to see anything, change anything else?
Yeah.
What would you do?
So think of this way,
So
right?
we communicate back to the.
So for a moment,
I believe it's
let's
getting-
talk about what are the different statuses the application can be when I log in as a lender. If I log in as a lender and try to pull up an application, what are the different statuses that application will be in?
Okay. Approve, reject.
So I heard the word pending,
Yeah,
I heard the word approved,
reject.
Application form?
I heard the word reject.
Yeah.
If there is an application form, as a lender, can I see application form? Okay. So one word of caution, and this is for your benefit when you go in. When you go in the team, just don't throw the word to think about it, hey, something will stick. I've been teaching it for 15 years. I know it when people just throw the things versus when people talk about what they're talking. Okay, so think for a moment, pause, if you don't know the answer, pause, think through it and then come out. Okay, so there are three statuses the application is going to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
The pending or submitted, right?
Yeah.
So if I think through overall path of a credit application, as a lender, I will not see an application unless dealer submits it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because before dealer submits it, dealer can change whatever he or she wants it.
Yes.
It's not even showing up in my queue,
Mm-hmm.
right? So the only time it will be in status will be submitted.
Do we have to append it?
It's the same
Either
thing.
way.
What I'm saying is that this is pending my approval or reject, which is same thing as submitted, right? So let's just eliminate the confusion. Let's keep it submitted, right? So that nobody's confused. So there is submitted status, an approved status or a reject status, right? If in the submitted status, when I look at the whole completeness and correctness of the requirement,
Mm-hmm.
there are a few things I could do it. I could change the status, right?
Yeah.
But I can't change any other data,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you need to go look into it and says, can I do anything but the status change? Right, so I need to pull up an application and poke around to see if it allows me to make any changes. And the only places it should allow me to make changes is the application status. Right? So this one thing is that submitted, hey, I can change any of the data. I can change only the status. Right?
Mm-hmm.
But since I'm allowed to change the status, all I have to worry about it is, can I change anything but the status, right?
Yeah.
So all you have to do it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I access an application which is in an approved status, can I do anything with them?
Yeah.
What can I do with them?
If you access the approved service, you can also check if everything that's been approved is accurate or inaccurate. If you get it inaccurate, you can see from the approved, you can still reject the application or something.
Oh. I was approved for the loan.
Yeah.
I went in and like it's got my car fixed. and then the lender change it to reject it.
I'm talking the lender side. Like,
I understand.
I
Walking
didn't-
through the business process.
I'm just saying, I haven't said, the lender sent it the email yet. I haven't said that.
As soon as I change it, isn't the requirement is it should trigger it?
I don't think that way.
Stick to the requirement, okay, what's given in the document.
What do you think? If you don't think it that way, what happens when I approve it?
I know when you approve it, you have to send an email.
Am I gonna send it manual or system automatically gonna send it as soon as I hit approve?
Then I don't know about that.
Alright, so you gotta read the requirement document in that case again, so. What points the emails are being triggered, right?
So you need to think about, right? So there are 3 different statuses in which my lender is gonna get it approved. And then for reject, I need to see it's, hey, if it's rejected, what if the dealer calls, oh, I made a mistake, can you just change only that for a little bit? Right, you need to make sure that the system requirement doesn't allow them to do anything like that. Right, so I need to think through all 3 statuses, I need to log in as a lender, and I need to go into the app and says, can I do anything with that? Only in this scenario, I should be able to look at the ability to change the status, but nothing else. In these 2 scenarios, I should be able to do just view, nothing, no change, nothing. Everybody with me?
Yes, after the approval and then the person changes his mind, like, now I don't need the loan again, what happens to the system?
What do you think it should happen?
Well, I don't know that by myself.
Okay, you go to the car dealer
Mm-hmm.
and says, yeah, I want to apply for the loan,
Yeah.
but then you decided, hey, no, I don't want to buy it.
No,
What
he put in everything and it showed me that it's approved, and now I say, okay, I've changed my mind, I'm not going to use it.
There is no money transaction there, so it just stays approved. Nobody got any money, so what is?
I didn't fix my car, but I'm not going to take the loan to pay it.
So the penalties are there.
For the reject, you say we can only view it, but what if they wanna reapply it, can we have it?
Is that a new application, or is it the same credit application? That's why it's important for you to read that entire requirements document, get that picture clear in your mind. So when you're doing this thing, you go back to your understanding of the requirement. It says, based on this thing, I know this is not going to be. That's where the 3 CNT comes. The correctness, it's not just the small piece of this requirement. The correctness is in the context of the whole requirement document, whole solution that you're trying to build.
So going back to the question you asked, if the customer does not, the customer changes his mind after the loan has been
Okay, let me give you a simple scenario, right? You come for the class, you go talk to Herschel and says, hey, I want to attend the class. I'll come in, I will get it. Herschel says, sure, we have a seat. You come ahead. You don't show up. You don't pay. What's the impact on you? Nothing.
There's no impact. But my question was,
If you give the money,
You lose the money.
no,
so if I go to fix my car, it's approved, and I tell them, okay, I give them in the shop and says, go fix the car. And then I go and says, okay, I don't want the loan at this point. Well, the transaction already happened at that. Then you are obligated and you're stuck with that loan. Right? So think it in the context. Okay. One thing you don't want to do, you don't want to assume the whole world and then go through it. Stay within the scope of your application. What is the scope of the application? Gets it approved or rejected, that's it. Does it even talk about it? Once it gets approved, I'm going to track it to see if the car is fixed or not? Is that in your scope of the application? Or why do I worry about it? All I want to know whether I'm approved it or not, that's it.
yeah, my worry here is, the 3 system goes by submit, approve or reject. So
approved and I didn't use it, what would be that status, the approved line? Is it going to be still approved in the system, or is it going to be rejected in the system? That's what I'm thinking about.
What do you think?
Approved? Yeah, approved but don't use. And
What did you thought when you
yeah,
read the
yeah, for the
requirements?
auditing purpose, so that they will see that, oh, this person was approved and didn't use, oh, yeah.
Does it matter? That's what I'm asking the question.
So it doesn't.
Your understanding of
Okay.
system, does it matter? That's the question I'm asking.
No.
Yeah, hang on 1 minute. Go ahead.
Yeah, actually, what I want us to look at, I don't know if this makes sense, but I just want it to satisfy my curiosity. Sure. As a lender, to me, I think lender can only approve or reject a loan application. Because when a loan application is made through the dealer, based on probably maybe my credit history, my ability to pay, dealer sends this to the lender, and the lender looks at the application. Based on what this customer provides in his loan application, I can approve it, I can reject it. I don't want to totally subscribe to
Okay, so let's walk
a
through.
lender changing anything.
Let's walk through this here. Okay. So I go to the dealer and says, hey, I need my car fixed. I don't have the money. The dealer says, sure, I can go ahead and create an credit application for you to see if somebody is willing to pay money for you as a loan. You can use that to grow. Dealer collects all the information, submits it, right? System triggers a notification to the lender. Now at that point, lender logs into the system, right? What is the status of the application? Is it approved? Is it rejected? Okay. All right. You had a question.
Hey, I was just trying to put the pieces together. Back to what he said. It will be approved in the system, and I just wanted to ask if it falls under inactive or dead. I just wanted to see if it falls under the data attributes.
Inactive and dead for who?
Those are dealers,
Those are
not
dealers.
the credit application.
Nothing to do with the dealer. I'm lender.
They are dealers. Nothing to do with the credit applications,
Okay.
right? It's a different data point.
Okay. Thank you.
But, I'm sorry, I agree with the status of the application is submitted. But my point is, the lender may not be able to change anything on the application.
That's
So
what I
we-
say. Can I change anything but status? That's what I'm checking.
Okay, okay, I got it.
The status of either approved or rejected.
Yeah.
I can still change the status, but I cannot do anything else. In these two cases,
Just
I don't even want to change status.
I'll review it.
I can just only view application. That's what I need to check it. Right. But I have to think about these three statuses to see what all I can do and what I cannot do. And you don't know, they may present this thing as a form, and you try to change it to see if it can change. Or they may present this as only a text for you, that you have no ability to do anything. Either case is fine, but you need to make it sure that you cannot go and update that data. But you have to start with one of the three statuses to go for that. And you have to make sure in each one of those statuses, they cannot do anything. Just
So is that it, like, or is there another, where we're just breaking down the three statuses and then just asking the one question?
That's what it says. But you're not just asking this question irrespective of the status. You have to be aware of the statuses before you start asking.
The concept of proving the negative was.
Yeah, the question appeared as if the lender can do something.
That's what I'm asking. Can lender do something?
You have to test it, the lender.
That's why you have to test it, right? Because the requirement just simply says lender cannot modify any data. That means he cannot do anything. So in order to validate that, I have to see, can he do anything? If he cannot do anything, then thereby I proved it that he cannot do it.
If he can do anything, that means
That's the requirement is there. Okay. Question?
Makes sense.
Okay, so all four team had an opportunity to go, we just covered only 2 requirements. Okay. So, can you go back and review for the remaining 4 requirements?
No, we have, I think we don't do.
Come over. You wanna
Yeah,
come
go.
over?
Oh, okay.
You have something different? Yeah, different requirement, right?
Yeah, different requirement.
Yeah, let's go.
3, right?
Yep,
Yes.
let's go.
We have 2.61 and 2.
Same rule, read the requirement out loud.
Okay, so we'll start with the 2.6621.
Yes.
What is the requirement?
So the requirement is lender can only access the credit application assigned to them.
This is
That's a nice one. We really like this one.
Only access the credit application assigned to them. So we'll have the lender here. Now, it's based on the application sent to the lender. So when the application is sent, the lender can either approve.
No, it's not even that.
Now, what is your understanding when you
Let's
say
talk about the
access the application assigned to them?
Access
Yes, what does it mean to you?
the credit application assigned to them.
Right.
They can access.
Can they,
So explain the requirement a little bit further. See what your understanding is before you write down anything.
Walk through a scenario.
So, when the credit application is sent to the lender through the dealer,
Okay.
the dealer will send the information to the lender. That's the first.
Okay.
Yes.
First,
So the lender will receive an email notification
okay.
asking for approval or the rejection of an application.
They will just receive notification. That's it.
Yes.
Now, go ahead.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with approval or rejection.
can they have
Just a few.
Can I
access to it?
That's all it talks about. It doesn't talk about, the scope of that requirement is not whether I can approve or reject. The scope of that requirement is, can I access it? And view that out. That's all it is.
Do you wanna go in? You wanna go in? Help him out, your teammate.
So over here, then
the team?
the lender can access the
Can he log in to access it?
Anybody has a different scenario than just simply just, hey, lender can log in and do that.
I'm gonna say.
The lender can-
This seems so simple. This is the other way around.
Can he, does he have like, the dealer, he has access to that dealer that was sent to him? That dealer, is it the right dealer or is it the wrong dealer? Because it's letting like for the dealer.
That has nothing to do with the deal.
So if the lender goes, it logs in, what they should see is all the credit applications.
All?
All the ones.
Assigned.
How do I prove that I can see only that are assigned to me?
Should be able to search by his name.
No, but.
If I'm already logged in, why do I need to search by my name? That indicates that, hey, I have a access broader than just mine. Right? I have to search it to narrow it down to mine,
Yeah.
that means I have more than mine that I can access it.
So it would be,
It's all mathematical problems, nothing to do with the software.
Oh.
So let's walk through a scenario, okay?
Talk about the email.
So think about it, there are two lenders in the system, one is me and one is Herschel. Okay. What this requirement is telling you is that if somebody submits a credit application and assigns me as a lender, Herschel cannot see that application. Only I can see it. And same thing is true, if somebody assigns it to Herschel, I can see his application. That's what you need to prove.
Okay, are you guys in the same system? Are you guys using the same system?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not my system or Herschel's system.
It's
We are
Arfloan.
lenders in the Arfloan system.
Definitely, there'll be a particular notification, so that will change that.
The notification is just the email, but when we log in, we are logging in the same system.
Yeah,
How do you prove that I can access Herschel's and Herschel can access mine?
based on your, you have
your own
your login, your own ID, your login ID.
I know. You're just like it's telling me what the system should do it. You're not telling me how you can prove it.
As a QA, you need to prove
That
it.
means I will, for example, I have, like, for example, use your, for example, his own PIN. You know,
So what are the different scenarios I need to work on? That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
can you see the other loans from, like, if you log into the system,
What is the
are all?
requirement telling you? Your
Same
understanding of the
access.
requirement.
I'm seeing
What is
access.
assigned to you? You just access what is assigned to you.
You have access, like, the way I'm seeing it is, if you log onto the system and all of the loans are there, but you only have access to the ones
That
that
have been
are
assigned to you.
designated to you, or can you only see the ones?
The question is, I want to see only the ones which is assigned to me.
I'm saying see it, it's access.
That's what it is,
That's
access.
the same.
If I can see it, that means I have at least
Access.
partially access. Right? If I can see the whole list,
Yes.
that means I have some level of access. I may not have detail to go into look into detail,
Mm,
but this requirement tells it, I have no access
mm.
to anybody other than mine.
So, could it be that when the dealers are submitting it, there's a list of lenders that you can just click so that it can just go directly to those lenders?
That's how, what is your understanding of how the dealer is going to assign it to me?
Did you guys read the requirements?
You're
I'll
not
go back to the
thinking about it.
document.
This is what you're going to end up in a day.
You have to do your homework, okay?
You got
That's-
three
that's what it
opportunities
is.
to read the requirement.
I know. But now it will click a little bit more, okay? Since we have a lot of discussion here.
So we have to prove that, for example, you cannot see the
Unique ID.
therefore they have to
How do I know which is ID of my ID? And what if I already have, I'm guessing, right? Because it's unique ID sequential, I have the 1001 assigned. I don't have 1002. Let me just go put it in 1002, see if I can see that.
Or
Unique ID doesn't prevent access violation issues.
or there's a code that, like, in order for him to access his own email, he has to put
Prove it.
the code.
That's what system is asking you, prove it. I don't know how they are implementing systems. How do I prove it?
I mean, I have to use his own information.
I think they probably want to sleep over this thing tonight and come back tomorrow and work through this particular. Think it through after you read one more time.
Each lender should have like an email address, right?
It's a system.
Email address doesn't prevent the access violation.
But if I don't have your email address, how can I access yours? And your password, how can I access your
Email has nothing to do with password. Think of this way.
The system.
The system prevents. If I have Herschel's user ID and a password, I can log in with this.
Yes.
Then there is nothing wrong.
Yes.
Then I should be able to see only his at that point. I can't see mine.
I think what is actually like the system, what is in the system that prevents actually from seeing what is being sent to him.
Think through it, as Herschel said. I like his idea. Sleep through it, read through the requirement, understand what you need to do it, and draw a tree for this one.
All right. Let's go to the last one, which is.
Yeah, sir, I have something to say about it. Yeah, because there's an agent of AfroRep, and the dealer will request through AfroRep, and AfroRep will assign it to a particular, because they will have a
Arfloan
link.
rep doesn't even come in the picture here.
There is no Arfloan here.
Read the requirement document again.
Okay, so we'll sleep over it. Let's move on to the last one, which is the.
Dilip, we got one more team there. Is it the same one? We should give them a
I think it's
chance.
safer to do it with
Okay.
them and then.
Yeah, so we are the last thing.
So we have the 2.6 or the 2.1.
So I think what I want to do it in the interest of time, right? I want you guys to look at your for all six, right? So all of you should have now a good idea of the trees. Okay? Look at that because I definitely want to move it into the second part. Right? So here is what I would suggest. Okay? All of you as a team, put it in the next 10 minutes. What do you think that picture looks like? Okay? And give that snapshot to me and Herschel. We'll look at it. Okay, but we want you to start now. Go ahead and make a progress in writing one test case based on one of the requirements that you have. Right? Because we definitely want to do it. Because as homework, you're going to get the right opportunity to write a lot of test cases today. So I want you guys to at least get a familiar with writing one test case here before that. Right? So I'm not trying to cut you off, but I want you to keep moving it so that you pick the next one. So remember we talked about the password characteristic, right? 8 character and a half. So let's pick that. Okay. And then pick one of the test cases, whichever one you feel comfortable from this requirement. Okay. And as a group, write those 2 test cases. Is the requirement clear?
The one with 8 characters.
So the one that I drew the first tree, remember?
Yeah.
The password has to be 8 characters only with 1 uppercase and 1 special character.
Understand.
Okay? And we did how many test cases? Does anybody recall?
I feel about 5 test cases. 5 test cases.
Right? Pick one out of those 5.
Or one out of the 5.
Because remember, all of them are test cases. All 5 are test cases.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to pass this thing. Remember like the login that I wrote it
Yeah.
this morning?
Yeah.
So like that, step-by-step instruction, including what are the prerequisites and so on.
Okay.
So here's one each. Okay. The second one is the one that you picked from.
And it's
The
a one per
diagrams
team,
that you
okay?
just draw.
One test case per team. So there are 2 test cases per team. So make sure you work as a team.
Okay.
I think you got that.
Give it to it. Okay? So between now and 12:40, right, so you get 45 minutes. Your task is, it should be fairly simple, right, because we already went through at least 2, 3. Just refine the remaining 4 trees and then write those 2 test cases. Okay, step-by-step instruction, data, what do you need, expected results. Good? I'm not hearing yes or no.
So
Just go over it again.
Okay. So the others who understood, can you explain it to him? What did we talk about that you need to do in the next 45 minutes?
So, with the password security, it has to be not more than 8, not less than 8. It has to be exact 8. It has to include one uppercase, at least one uppercase, and one special character. And we had 5 test cases, and one is less than 8. The other is special character. Sorry, under the uppercase, we had special character, and we have no special character. So they are all cases. And we also have no uppercase. And so you choose one of these, just one of the...
One of the 5 loops,
Yes.
right into detail step by step.
Oh,
You did.
Yeah,
Your teammates have done it. You didn't do it.
and
No, that was the first one that I drew.
This one, you don't know. So you wanted to say that those five scenario.
Work with your team, they've written it down.
Yeah, so if you want after that scenario and the